In March 1918, during the final year of World War I, a massive United States Navy ship disappeared without a trace. There was no distress call, no radio message, no wreckage, and no survivors. The ship was called USS Cyclops, and it carried 309 people. To this day, this remains the largest non-combat loss of life in the history of the United States Navy. In this video, we will examine what likely happened to USS Cyclops using verified historical records, context from the time period, and the most reasonable scientific explanations. Without relying on myths or speculation, USS Cyclops was launched in 1910 and belonged to the Barbados class of colliers. A collier was a type of ship designed to transport coal, which was the primary fuel for naval fleets before oil became dominant. Cyclops was over 540 feet long and displaced more than 19,000 tons when fully loaded. Under normal conditions, it carried a crew of about 250 people, but during wartime it often transported additional passengers. By 1918, the ship was actively supporting United States naval operations across the Atlantic Ocean. Despite its size and importance, USS Cyclops was not in perfect condition. Historical records indicate that one of its engines was not functioning properly, reducing its overall maneuverability. There were also concerns related to maintenance and long-term structural stress. Ships of this type were known to have design limitations, including long hulls, extremely heavy cargo loads, and limited internal compartmentalization. These factors made them vulnerable to structural failure, especially when operating in rough seas or under excessive load. In early 1918, USS Cyclops departed from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, carrying more than 10,000 tons of manganese ore. Manganese ore is an extremely dense material, and if it is unevenly distributed, it can place severe stress on a ship's hull. In addition to the cargo, Cyclops had 309 people on board. On March 3, 1918, the ship made a brief stop in Barbados. After leaving the island, it set course for Baltimore, Maryland. That was the last confirmed sighting of USS Cyclops. No distress signal was ever received. The ship did not report mechanical trouble, hostile contact, or severe weather. It simply failed to arrive at its destination. For years, many accounts claimed that the weather during the voyage was perfectly calm, but this is not entirely accurate. While no major hurricane was recorded, reconstructed weather data suggests the presence of strong winds and heavy seas along parts of the route. For a heavily loaded vessel with mechanical limitations, even moderate storm conditions could have been extremely dangerous when USS Cyclops did not arrive in Baltimore. The United States Navy launched an extensive search effort. Naval ships, aircraft, and coastal patrols were deployed across the expected route. Despite these efforts, no debris, oil slicks, or lifeboats were ever found. An official Naval Board of Investigation later concluded that the disappearance of USS Cyclops could not be explained with certainty. But the investigation found no evidence that the ship had been attacked. At the time, German submarines were operating in the Atlantic Ocean, and some suspected that USS Cyclops had been sunk by enemy forces. However, German naval records do not indicate any engagement with the ship. No explosion sounds were reported, and no wreckage consistent with torpedo damage was ever discovered. Today, most historians agree that enemy action is extremely unlikely. The most widely accepted explanation for the loss of USS Cyclops is structural failure. The combination of heavy cargo, uneven weight distribution, known design weaknesses, and rough sea conditions could have caused the hull to fail suddenly. If this occurred, the ship could have sunk rapidly, leaving no time to send a distress signal. Another plausible explanation is cargo shift. If the manganese ore moved during heavy seas, the ship could have lost stability and capsized. Mechanical failure, combined with poor weather, may have further reduced the crew's ability to respond to an emergency. Many people ask why no wreckage was ever found. The answer lies in the environment of the Atlantic Ocean. The waters along the ship's route are extremely deep and heavily influenced by the powerful Gulf Stream, which can disperse debris over vast distances in a short time. In 1918, search and detection technology was very limited. A large ship that sank quickly could disappear without leaving visible traces. USS Cyclops did not vanish because of supernatural forces or unexplained phenomena. It disappeared because the ocean is powerful, unpredictable, and unforgiving. The loss was most likely caused by a combination of early 20th century ship design, heavy industrial cargo, mechanical limitations, and challenging sea conditions. Sometimes history does not require a mystery to be tragic. Sometimes the sea alone is enough.